Well, this is my first episode with a friend, and so I just want to say I'm so grateful to be able to have space to talk about things that really matter to me, and that is the areas of faith, purpose, and leadership. And so started this podcast because I really find those three areas really valuable. And today I have a really great friend on the show who's doing amazing work in those areas. So I'm excited to introduce everybody to Coach D. Hello, Coach D.
Hello. Hello. Thanks for having me. This is fun. I'm
Yeah,
excited to not only chat, but to kick this exciting project off with you.
yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
And we met, so we were actually at the same conference in 2018. We didn't meet each other at the conference, but it was afterward, there was a mastermind group that formed after the conference, and that's where we connected. And that mastermind group, I'm not sure if there was like, I can't remember if there was a theme to it or if we were just all focused on supporting each other, pushing each other towards becoming great in our different respective fields. And so that was our initial connection, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I have vague memories of Zooms with everyone on, and I believe it was just kind of a almost troubleshooting. This is what's going on in
Mm.
my business. This is what I'm thinking about, and getting feedback from the other people on the Zoom. Although I don't even remember how many Zooms we had as a group. And then it was kind of just to three people, you, me, and one other person, and then just us.
Yeah, yeah. And then the following year, the same conference happened, and that's where we met up. I want to say in real life, but like in
Yeah,
person, that was kind of
totally.
our first time connecting, and that was
Absolutely.
yeah, several years ago now. Um,
Pre-COVID. I mean,
yeah.
that's always a bit of a time warp, anything before COVID years, but it was pre-COVID.
Hmm. I'm reminded of a quote by a guy named Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I don't think his real middle name is Tremendous, but he was known for saying that word a lot, so that's kind
Mm,
of how he got his nickname. But anyway, he has a quote that says, "The main difference between who you are now and who you will be a year from now are the people you meet and the books you read."
mm,
And I just want to, you already know this, but I just want to share with you and share with everybody that I am a different person today because of meeting you. I'm a better
mm,
person. I'm a
mm,
better leader. And so I just want to, just up front at the beginning of our conversation, I just want to acknowledge you being a good leader, friend, support, challenger in my life. And I truly think about that quote and think about people like you in my life that God's allowed me to meet that have made me a better person. And so I just want to acknowledge you and just say thank you for being such a good friend, to give me an encouragement when I need encouragement, to challenge me when I'm not pushing myself hard enough, and also comfort me in like the downtime. So truly, you've become one of my best friends since that conference, and I'm just grateful for our connection.
Me too. And I think it's just I love how we met and how our friendship and mentorship really both directions with each other has evolved because I remember some very deep conversations we had at that second summit of greatness just about life and kind of the journeys that we've both had and just how easy it was, I think, for us to fall into a relationship that was full. Of course, the foundation was friendship, but there was so much trust and validation, acceptance, and like you mentioned, challenge. And that to me is missing in a lot of relationships for a multitude of reasons. That's how we grow, though. And when you can open up and people can see all sides of you and they know where you've been, the things that you're looking for, but also the things that you need either reassurance on or a little nudge in the back to move forward on, that those are the ones that hit your heart and are in your heart. And that's definitely for me our friendship and our really the growth of individually but also together. And it's been gosh, 8 years. It's a
Yeah,
long
it's
time.
crazy.
It's a
Yeah,
long
man.
time. So I'm beyond, I'm honored. And anytime we get a chance to talk, it's always time well spent. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm excited for a whole bunch of, hopefully, a whole bunch of my other friends are listening to this conversation. And I'm excited for my friends to get to meet you. You are known by so many people as Coach D. And that is, you are a strength and wellness coach, you're a retreat leader, and especially your target audience is women, and especially women who are maybe are in like midlife,
Yeah,
who maybe they've spent the first bulk of their adult lives raising a family or kids, and maybe they've stopped taking care of themselves, or they haven't been choosing themselves. So part of your mission is to really help women do the best things for them, to choose themselves and to pursue strength, to find their fierce, right? To
a
become,
100%.
that's your brand, fierce by choice, right?
Yes, yes. And it's women. Most of my clients are what I call empty nesters, although we love the phrase open nest because
Hmm.
anybody who's had children leave, they always come back in some capacity. And so they're open nesters. They're mostly in their late 50s, early 60s. And what's so beautiful about that stage of life is that they have kind of checked the boxes in terms of they usually have gone, they've have an education, they've had a career. A lot of women, not all, but a lot of women have been married and had children. Some of them are now welcoming grandchildren into their life.
Hmm.
And so their life is so rich and full in terms of what they've personally experienced and also what they've been able to give to other people. And so
Yeah.
there's this transition phase after all of those beautiful things happen in your life where you kind of look around and think, well, now what?
Hmm.
Because the day to day has changed so much and there is extra time and there is desire to find that fire to be fulfilled again in a way that doesn't actually involve raising children or helping other people or really taking on labels or roles that we've kind of been conditioned up until this point. And so it's an opportunity for women to step back into themselves. Who am I? And who was I back before all this stuff happened? And how can I remember who that is on the other side of this? And a lot of that comes down to getting out of their head and into their bodies, which is why the strength training is the foundation of what I do. It not only centers you and grounds you figuratively, but literally, when you're stronger in your body, you're stronger in your mind, and it's easier for you to know where you want to go outside of that. And they have the time, they have the desire, and they also don't really have anything to prove anymore. And so that's a beautiful place. It can be a raw place, but it's a beautiful place for women to just fully step in.
Hmm.
And it's been the most joyous thing that I've had the opportunity to do.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty unique mission. And so one of my questions for you is what's the origin story? How did you didn't always do this. So, I mean, you always, since I've known you, you've had a long history of being in fitness space, but not always focused on helping women like you are now. So, what was some of the steps that you took, and what was the journey like to get where you are now? The origin story of Coach D.
Yes, yes. Well, you're right. I mean, ever since I was, I mean, younger than 10, I went with my mom to aerobics classes at
Mm.
5:30 in the morning. I mean,
Oh,
we
wow.
wore leotards and belts.
The 80s was
And
a great time for
oh, it was a
fashion,
good
for
man.
fitness fashion.
Man, you could get away with anything. It was great.
Uh,
So I always had this for movement and challenging my body in that way, and it was really modeled by my mom.
hmm.
And so I did aerobics. I got certified to teach aerobics back when I was in high school and just fell in love with that environment, challenging people and myself, but showing people what they're capable of. It's addicting. It's
Hmm.
addicting for someone to do something and first of all, they never even seen it, let alone knew that they could even do it. But to show them, hey, you got this. I'm going to help you through this. And then to see them on the other side I was addicted. And
Hmm.
so right after that, I went to Texas A&M University. So after I graduated high school, and there I knew I wanted to be involved in their kinesiology department, which is just the study of movement. and there's biomechanics and there was the business piece. And I kind of did half and half and knew that I wanted to go into business doing some kind of fitness thing. I didn't even know exactly what that was. And so through the journey, I worked for Gold's Gym. I was a personal trainer. I ran their group fitness department. I kind of did a bunch of different things and stayed in love with fitness and knew that well and felt expert in that area. Also knew that it felt a little, we'll say, shallow at times when the focus was just on the aesthetics and not necessarily on the other pieces. And so I kind of went through that journey for I would say a couple decades, really, in terms of being a coach in a multitude of ways, one on one, groups, you name it. But it shifted into women of my own personal hit kind of rock bottom moment. I was married, and I remember this was in 2011. Um, I was newly married, and I remember waking up one morning and thinking, like, how did I get here?
Hmm.
Not like I knew where I was, but in my life. And say that if I wrote a book, the title of the book would be The Me I Didn't Know, because that's how I felt in that moment. It was
Hmm.
like I recognize the face, I recognize the voice, but what, like, whose life am I living? And it got to the point where it was such a performance. And I mean, I became a chameleon. I said what I needed to say. I did what I needed to do. I mean, you tell me what you want me to be, I'm your girl. And that's how I was living my life. And so when you do that, not only do you not use your voice, but you forget what your voice sounds like, you forget what your
Sure.
voice means, you forget what you stand
Hmm.
for. And that moment when I woke up, I looked over at my then husband and I thought, what am I doing? And there was a great unraveling of relationship, of life, of clarity. And literally we were on vacation and I remember like looking up and saying, like, help me, give me a sign. And I was on Pinterest and this quote pops up. This is now, fast forward, we're now in 2014. This quote pops up and it says, this is the year I will be strong. This is the year I will be kind, brave, and unstoppable. This is the year I'll be fierce.
Hmm.
I still get chills. I still get
Wow.
chills every time.
Yeah.
And that was the word. It's like fierce, because to me, fierce is feminine and strong. Fierce is curious, like you're smart, you know what you're doing, and you're curious. It's the and it's the power of and I thought, here I am, I have expertise in this area, and I'm also miserable in my life, but this is an opportunity for me to take a big step forward, to have the courage I need to move forward. And in that moment, that was in December of 2014, fierce, I was like, that's the name of my business, and I'm just going to focus on women who are lost, women who've lost their voice, women who feel like they're living somebody else's life, women who don't know
Hmm.
what's next, women who all the boxes are checked, but you're still thinking there's a void, I'm unfulfilled, there's something missing. And I reached out to high school friends. I said, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I want to create a group called Fierce, and I would like for you to be a part of it. And a big chunk of my high school friends, let's say about 15, said yes. And then it's evolved from there.
Wow. So like your brand and your business is really ministering or focusing on helping the people who you were.
Yes,
Someone who's lost their voice, who didn't, you didn't know where you were in that sense, and you realized that there was more to you to be put out in the world. But if for so many different situations that had been like stuffed or suffocated in a way. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, well, that's really beautiful. And so this podcast focuses on faith, purpose, and leadership. And something I heard
Right.
you say kind of moves us into that first area of faith where you said that you just kind of looked up and you asked for a sign. So a lot of my friends listening to this will know, like I was a pastor for almost 11 years, and I work as a missionary right now. So I have faith in God, and so you had like looked up and just said, I need a sign. So like for you, like what were you talking to, or who were you asking for a sign from? Is it just, I don't want to answer for you, but like in
No,
that
absolutely. I
moment,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that question. I mean, I wasn't raised traditional faith. We didn't go to church. I went with friends sometimes to church, and but it wasn't religious wasn't really practiced for me growing up. And there's always this belief, this kind of, I'll say, inner knowing that there's a force much greater than me.
Hmm.
And to me, the words energy, source, universe, and God are all very interchangeable. So in that moment, it was God, universe,
Yeah.
give me a sign. I need something. And again, even without a traditional practice, there's always this a belief and a fallback of knowing that something's bigger out there has got me.
Yeah. Yeah, divine guidance, infinite intelligence, energy,
Yes.
love, universe. Yeah, I've heard a lot of those different words or phrases as euphemisms for God and such. But yeah, the word faith in and of itself, if
Hmm.
I had a working definition of faith, it just means believe or belief. Or I would even say faith is I'm fully convinced about something, or I'm fully persuaded, even if I don't even see a lot of evidence or consistent proof. So I imagine that faith is a huge part of helping women become something, become
Hmm.
fierce, because you're asking them to, like, faith requires action. If I say I believe, I'm fully convinced about something, I'm going to do something. In the workout space, it's like, trust me, if you do this, this, and this, if you believe me, if you put your faith in my coaching, you will achieve this, this, and this. So is how much of that is a part of your coaching for women to become fierce?
It's a big part. And it's a big part in two ways. Their first faith is in me, not themselves.
Hmm.
They have to trust me. And we joke. We in class, I'll say, "Do you trust me?" And half of them will say no. um, and it's a joke because there's this myth with fitness that they'll say 30 seconds. They really mean a minute or 90 seconds. But that first faith, that leap of faith that they have to take is that they're going to be safe, taken care of. And that has to come from me. And so my own faith in my ability as a coach, my faith over the years of watching people move, where I can use my intuition to say, this is safe or this isn't, based on what I guide each person to do. And then my belief in that once they can do that movement, lift that particular weight, fill in the blank in the
Hmm.
moment, then the faith in themselves built. So it's almost in phases. And then, as someone who works out, you faith in yourself builds up to a certain point. And then you have to kind of bust through another plateau and you go through that process again. So I always take
Hmm.
the responsibility. It is a great responsibility and something that I do not take lightly, that I make sure that when I'm coaching someone, like, they know I have them 1,000%, that I would never them an exercise, ask them to do something, or put something in their hands if I didn't believe with all my heart that they were capable of doing that. And
Yeah,
once that trust is built and then they trust in themselves, it it
it
just
just
it
builds,
takes off. Yeah,
compounds.
but it's the
Yeah.
self-belief. It's the self-belief that they need to cultivate, that faith in self, to allow them to continue to progress.
Mm. As you're talking, I'm having a memory back in 2013. That's the year I started doing functional fitness. I could say CrossFit, but it was kind of like a functional fitness. I'd never done air squats before.
Yeah.
I'd never done a box jump before. And I remember I had two coaches, Mark and Allison, and I remember both of them just really asking me to trust them, that and receive their belief in me, that Garrett, you can do a box jump. And I remember my first box jump, I'm like so scared to like jump up and that I'm gonna like fall over or something. But they
Yeah,
like
yeah,
held
of
my,
course.
literally held my hand while I did it. And like just like you said, as soon as you do these little things that seem big and hard, they just get easier and easier. And then you just keep building on top of that trust, on top of that faith. And then the next thing you know, you're power cleaning weight above your head. And it's really cool to see. I
Yeah.
imagine you just love seeing women embrace their own power to do something they didn't think they previously could.
Every day,
Yeah.
literally every day. And the other joke mantra that we talk about in our classes is we say, this is not your mama's workout because the culture of women, ordinary women, I don't mean athletes, like our everyday women lifting heavy weights is new. Their
Hmm.
moms, 95% of my clients' mothers did not lift weights. They did exercise, they played tennis or they ran or they did cardio or aerobics, but they did not lift weights.
Yeah, they're all
And
watching
so,
Richard Simmons.
yeah, exactly.
Sweating to the oldies is what they're doing.
Definitely, definitely. And hey, great exercise, by the way. People lost a ton of weight doing that and felt good in their skin. But when it comes to strength training, like you said, functional, and really functional training is different for everybody because what I want to be functional to do may be different from the person down the street, right?
Yeah.
And it's that faith in yourself, trying it and seeing that you're able to do it, it catapults you.
Hmm.
And that strength, that physical strength that you experience in the gym is directly related to mental strength.
Yeah.
And we always say like battles in the gym make those battles easier.
Yeah.
Like beat your battles here, win your battles here, and everything outside of this, you're coming from a grounded, strong place.
Y-
It's remarkable.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that fitness affects every other area of life. If I'm doing well physically with staying consistent, eating well, sleeping well, working out consistently, then my mental health is going to be better. My spiritual life, my relationship
Yes,
with God is going to be better. My relationship with other people,
yes,
and my ability to take wise risks and do hard things at work
yes.
is going to increase as well. And yeah, I really feel like there's a benefit and a translation to other areas of life. Same thing as like, people promote taking cold plunges.
Mhm.
You take a cold plunge in the morning and then the rest of the day I can do hard things because I sat in cold water for 3 minutes. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I love it. I mean, it's there's a saying called "Eat that frog."
Hmm.
It's a Brian Tracy. It's actually from Mark Twain, but Brian Tracy is the one that's known for it. And that's the meaning of the saying is, well, and it comes from a story if that you were actually to eat a live frog first thing in the morning, the rest of your day would be a piece of cake.
Right.
And for a lot of people, that is exercise. For a lot of
Hmm.
people, making the time, number one, getting there, number two, and then actually doing the exercise, number three, that takes a lot of energy for a lot of people. And so when they can do it first thing in the day, it does. Everything else does feel easier. And it's not just because the endorphins and the blood flow, which are great things and feel good physically, but it's the mental, it's the
Yeah.
self belief that you have what it takes to take on the day. Like bring it on, whatever you throw at me, I got.
Yeah. And as we're
Yeah.
talking about faith, purpose, and leadership, eat the frog is a really great leadership principle
Yes.
of when you get into work first thing, like what's the hardest thing on your to-do list that day? Do it first. Get it out of the way, and then the rest of the day is just going to be a downhill stride. And
Yes.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in eat the frog.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah. Well, going back to faith, just I like to ask people what are some of your core beliefs? So for me, one of my core beliefs, every person has a purpose.
Mm.
And part of my passion is helping people discover and wake up to their purpose. When it comes to core beliefs, faith that you have, do you have one or two core beliefs that you operate on or that have helped guide you in your journey?
Yes, and The first one is you can be grateful and still crave more. And that's that is important to me because of the story that I shared earlier. I was so blessed in terms of the things that I had in my life.
Yeah,
I
okay.
wanted for nothing. I I from the outside looked like I had it all. And I was so grateful for those beautiful things. And
Mm,
I knew still craved more. And I don't mean more stuff, I mean more aliveness, I mean more me, more fulfillment. And
hmm
so often, especially with women that I coach, there's this mom guilt, quote unquote. I'm last on the list. Like, no, no, dude, the kids need it first. I need to put myself last. I can't take the time away. I can't spend that money on myself. All of
mm,
these reasons why they need to be last, or not, honestly, sometimes not even on their list at all. And it's because this belief that they shouldn't want more, that they should be grateful for what they have, end of story, move on.
sure.
And it's it's a balance. To me, it's both. Always express gratitude. Always. That's the first thing I do every morning. You've got to know that if there's something whispering in you that doesn't feel aligned, or there's a void, trust it. It's not a flaw, it's feedback. It is feedback. And you can challenge it and explore it, and know that it's okay. It's okay to want more, even if you feel like you have a beautiful life. And the other one is that courage is a choice.
Mm,
To me, courage is the bridge, next thing in life. It's not motivation, that comes and goes. It is having the courage to say yes. Maybe it's to say no. Maybe it's to take that small step forward, to say what you really mean, to go for the thing. And it's a daily choice. And it doesn't have to be big, it just needs to move you forward. And when I look back at everything that I coach, it comes down to courage. Courage to sign up for the class, courage to walk in the room, courage to pick up the 25-pound dumbbell instead of the 20-pound dumbbell, courage to take that strength that you felt in class home and ask for what you want. Say no, because that's what you really want to say. And that has built the foundation on everything that I've coached, being
nice.
grateful, craving more, and knowing that it's going to take courage to get there.
Hmm. This is one of the things that I love about you is that you're not just a coach teaching fitness, teaching people to pick up a dumbbell or a barbell or a kettlebell or whatever.
Yeah.
You are actually coaching people into healthy mindsets, fierce mindsets, strong,
Yes.
courageous mindsets. So anybody can just sign up for a class, like you said, at Gold's Gym, and you can do the aerobic class and you leave. But that's not what you're doing. You've built a tribe that, yes, you're coaching fitness, but you are also really tapping into a more important area. I think more important than physical fitness is the mental strength and the inner strength. And so I
Yes.
know that you're working on a few different projects. One of the things that I'm real excited for you about is the retreats that you're hosting. I think last year you held two retreats.
Right.
This year you're doubling it. You're doing four
Right.
retreats. And
Yeah.
these are not just, a weekend away at a cabin. You're going to Tulum. You're going,
Right.
where else? You're going to Italy. You're taking people to, did you go to
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica? And then you did something in like,
Mar-
where did you go
Martha's
last year?
Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. Where did you
Oh,
go last year, though?
last year was Portugal.
Portugal. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're also working on your framework, the Fierce Method.
Yes.
So do you want to share a little bit about maybe what you do on the retreats and also your Fierce Method?
Sure. So what I love about retreats is that they're immersive. They're an immersive experience. And for most, again, women, because that's who I'm working with, it's difficult to separate the day-to-day stuff that we do the place where we want to be, right? Meaning like we always have these day-to-day tasks and it's difficult to kind of break the monotony of those to get into a space that allows you to ask the questions. Who am I after all these roles are gone? What are the things that I truly want in my life? What are things that I've always said that I want to do, but I've never done? And when you can take someone out of that day to day environment and create this container that is, again, safe because there has to be trust. And they get into this container, that trust and that permission allows them to take the armor off. The mask comes off, the armor comes off, the hesitations dissipate. And when you're surrounded by other people that are doing the same thing, there's this, oh, we are all in this together. It's the culmination of all the things that I love to do as a coach that get into all those little nooks and crannies of our lives and our minds and our bodies, where, of course, there's physical movement. So every retreat is movement. Sometimes that movement looks like hikes. Sometimes that movement looks like zip lining over the canopy of the rainforest in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
We've done stand up paddleboard. We've swam in waterfalls. We have whitewater. We've done rafting. We've done like you name it. We've done
Alpaca farm.
dance alpaca farm. We
Not as
walked some
exotic as
alpacas.
ziplining over a rainforest, but it's still fun.
Exactly. So there's always movement because, like I said, that's the fastest way to get out of your head and into your body. And
Mm,
when you're out of your head and into your body, that's where you can remember. That's where you start to remember, oh, this feels good. This feels aligned. This is who I am. It grounds you, and that's where the inner knowing and the trust is. So we always move. And then there's coaching sessions. Some of them are more self-reflective, where there's not a lot of conversation back and forth, but there's journal prompts and there's breath work and there's meditation, all relative to the theme and the geographical location that we are, because that
mm.
all plays into cultivating this container where it can be immersive. And then there are group sessions where sometimes it's group discussion and we have a topic or a theme. And of course, it always evolves and transforms, and that part's just yummy. And people get to share. And there's so much wisdom. Every person has so much wisdom based on the life experience that you've had up to this point. It doesn't even matter how old you are, where you've lived, what you've done. Everybody has wisdom and experience that they can speak from. And in these group settings, for people to coach, but share anecdotally, maybe coach, but share what their experiences and what has worked or what hasn't worked for them or what they've been feeling. Again, the armor just is off and the guard
Mm.
is down. And when women are open in that kind of environment, that's where the mindset shifts happen. That's where the transformations happen. We always combine a little bit of like, girls weekend with adventure, with you're going to get a little bit uncomfortable because if we don't get you there, how are you ever going to grow? But I always tell people it's like I'm holding one hand, kind of like your box jump, right? I'm holding one hand and I'm nudging you with this hand. This hand's got you, and I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna push you forward. And what women say when they come home from retreats, number one, they feel refreshed, just a chance to step away and break away from the routine. But there's a shift. There's a shift in how they see things. You don't have to change your beliefs. We just want women to be open to the possibility that there could be a different way to see things, to feel things, to experience things. And when you do it together, your horizons broaden because you're seeing other people experience things at the same time, but in a different way. It's just so beautiful.
Mm.
And it's again, it's those pinch me moments where every retreat, I think, I cannot believe I get to do this.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
so
that's awesome.
grateful that this is such an opportunity because, again, it's this culmination of all the things I love to do in a place that allows true transformation to happen. And every retreat's different because all the people that come create this collective energy that cannot be recreated anywhere else you go. And even I've had women who've done 7 or 8, 9 retreats, and they're always different when they come. is always different wherever you are. And different energies bring out different pieces of you too. So it's so exciting. We have one in just like 4 weeks. And
Wow.
I don't know. It's like when a baby is born, like you can't wait to meet them. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that kind of energy. It's like I just can't wait to see what's going to be created. So we have those retreats, and then the Fierce Method. This is something that has been a passion project of mine for a very long time, and something that it's so near and dear to my heart that I've done iterations of it, and it still feels like there's so much more space to kind of explore and evolve and cultivate the energy that ultimately I'm craving that women experience going through this Fierce Method. And the duration of it, I'm not sure yet. I've kind of played with it back and forth, but the premise of it is that's the bottom line is
Courage.
courage.
Yeah.
It's courage. It's courage to take the time to get clarity on what you want, to know how to express, and then to take action so that you can architect what you want on your terms, in your way, not at the expense of anybody else's feelings or time or love or worth,
Hmm.
just in a way that feels aligned for you. And so there's a series of modules or themes is a much better word, that we would move through that build on each other, so that you start with where am I? What's going on? Where do I want to go next? And then we build from there, breaking through limiting beliefs, confronting the roadblocks that inevitably will come up in our way, and then ultimately understanding what are those steps I'm going to take to get me closer to where I want to be, that is aligned, knowing that they can be small or big. And as long as I have that courage to keep going, I will get to that fierce place. And when I say find your fierce, only you can define what your fierce is.
Yeah.
And that's part of the discovery process through the fierce method.
Yeah. You have, I mean, some of the big destinations are broad, like courage.
Right.
But then what does courage look like for that specific person? They have to figure that out.
Yes.
So
A
you
thousand
kind
percent.
of
Yeah.
identify you're kind of like the North Star in a sense,
Yeah.
um, of pointing people in a direction of caring for themselves, choosing themselves and choosing courage, but then they have to determine the specifics of what that looks like.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, I know you said you have a retreat coming up in 4 weeks, and I know that one's booked. But if someone wanted to go on one of your retreats, I'm assuming the best way for them to find out about it is just to follow you on Instagram.
Absolutely. At
Yeah,
Fierce, yeah, at Fierce Coach D or at Fierce by Choice. Both of those will show the retreats that we have. And my website is fiercebychoice.com. And there's very top of the page, it says retreats. And you click on that, it'll show all the retreats that we have coming up.
nice. Yeah, we'll definitely put that
Yeah.
in the show notes.
Fabulous. Thank you. Yes.
Um, let's just finish our conversation talking about leadership.
Great.
And I'm a firm believer in two things: life, spelled Lyf, which is lead yourself
Yes.
first, and then
Yes.
get lit, Lyt, which is lead your team or lead your tribe.
Mm.
So you are someone, I mean, I've known you for like 8 years, and I know that you are definitely someone who leads yourself first. So share a little bit about what are some of the ways that you lead yourself?
Oh, so I agree that, well, leadership is leading yourself first. I believe that leadership is going first. That was the foundation of Fierce from the beginning,
Your whole story.
and
Yeah.
the whole story.
Mm,
Exactly. And so for me to lead myself, the number one skill that I developed was self-belief. And when I dove into that, expertise I really felt like I had at the time was lifting weights. And so I treated it like reps, putting in the reps to cultivate this belief in myself that I could say what I want to say and do what I want to do, again in a way that feels aligned and not at the cost of anybody else's life. Um, and it always came down to a few, I would say, daily practices that I still do today. Reading, you and I have shared many, many books together.
Yeah.
But reading, and yes, I guess books that would fall in the category of self help, books that allow me to down some of those limiting beliefs that I have, or areas where I feel like I'm stuck, and recognizing that holding me back is almost always myself.
Mm.
And so giving me some new tools to work through and continuing to move forward. Reading is a big one. So I read a lot. I recommend books all the time to my clients as well. Journaling, that is a big one. That is a big part of my practice as a coach. And when you were talking about earlier, taking women on retreats and coaching women, or being diving in a little bit deeper than just quote unquote coaching, I like to consider myself a facilitator. and
Mm.
and the journaling is really a facilitation of it's and dig again, and why, and dig again, and get a little bit deeper, and get a little bit clearer, and get a little bit quiet. And so journaling for me is a daily practice. I sometimes journal multiple times a day, and it is one of those, a little bit of an out of body experience times in the moment, and then when you go back you realize how much wisdom is there, and
Mm.
how much intuition is there. And that's the piece that I believe is missing for a lot of people, is their own intuition. We search, we google, we ask, we poll, we are constantly looking for other people to validate our own ideas or our thoughts, when if you can just sit and journal with some key prompts, that is key. What you ask yourself can uncover things. There's so much wisdom there. So for me, that is a leadership tool, because it allows me to truly know what's going on, which then can guide my next move.
You kind of just you described it as an out of body experience, but I think even as you just described it more accurately, I think journaling is a fully in body
It
experience.
it is.
We're like,
It
oh, I'm
is.
actually connecting with myself, and oh, here's thoughts and ideas that I didn't even know were in there.
Yes. Yes.
And capturing those and then logging them and going back to them later and be like, did I have that much wisdom to say that thing? And
That's the piece, is that you're so in the moment when you're writing that sometimes you don't realize the wisdom that's there.
that's
And
already
so
in you.
that's the beauty of writing it down, is
Mm,
that you can go back and read it. And that's where, to me, that's where the shift happens, because you have your own, answers.
hmm.
They're there. They're
Yeah.
already there. You've just got to peel back the layers before you can see it for yourself. So reading books and or leadership practices that I, of course, do for myself, that I think allow me to be a leader for my clients. And then practicing what I preach. I do not take clients through workouts that I haven't done myself.
Mm,
I don't. Now, there are people that I come across, especially in retreats, because people come from all over. And of course, what new people that come into class, that maybe they have gone through something in their life that I haven't specifically gone through. And at the same time, there are, storylines are different, but themes are the same. So the human
yeah,
experience is
absolutely.
same, right?
Hmm.
And so I always lead from a place of, I have been here, I have done this, and I'm going to be with you through this, even if your experience is different. So leading from a place that feels honest and familiar to me, because I've moved through it to
Yeah.
some capacity. Yeah.
It's interesting. I like how you said that because there's a verse in scripture that talks about Jesus. And it says it's in Hebrews 4:15. I just pulled it up here.
Okay.
And one of the words used for Jesus is our great high priest. And it says, the writer of Hebrews says, we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. And sometimes people look at that verse and they're like, how was Jesus tempted in every way, just like I am? Like, Jesus was never married, so how does he know what a divorce feels like? But it's
Right.
like the what you said is so beautiful because it covers the themes. Like, yeah, maybe
Yes.
I haven't been through a divorce, but I've been through hard things. I've been through
Yes.
abandonment or I've been through rejection.
Yes.
So those
Yes.
are the big themes that even though I might not have gone through the exact same circumstance as somebody else, I know what rejection feels like. I know what abandonment feels like. I know what
Yes.
um, hopelessness feels like.
Yeah. Heartbreak
Hmm.
and anger and resentment and yeah,
Mm.
how and similar to what you said earlier, people defining their own fears, defining their courage. It doesn't matter. The storyline does. I'm not saying it matters because it happened to you and it defined your experience. But what we're connecting on is not the story. What we're connecting on is the human experience. And that's how we
Mm.
felt through it. That's how it impacts how you relate to other people. That's what we connect on. And when you can tap into those feelings, and again, a lot of that clarity and I feel for me, understanding comes through the journaling process, breathing, meditating, those are kind of all wrapped into one for me. That's where you understand at a much deeper level how we're all connected.
Yeah.
And that's where the trust is built with people as well.
Hmm. And again, something I think you do very well is helping people cultivate that growth mindset.
Mm.
No matter what your starting point is, I'm going to
Hmm.
help lead you toward that next layer of growth.
Yeah.
So we've talked about life, lead yourself first, and now LYT, lead your tribe. We've
Right.
already talked about a lot of the ways that you're doing that, but is there any other maybe tools that you use when it comes to leading others into courage, into growth? Um, some ways that you lead your tribe that you haven't already mentioned.
Yeah. The main one is showing up.
Mm,
That's I always
showing
someone's like,
up.
oh, I have to come and lift these heavy. It's like you just have to show up.
Yeah.
Like just get here. And the practice of showing up creates your ability to show up in other areas of your life, regardless of what happens after you show up. I know that those pieces are important, and I am not saying that they aren't, but the practice that we need to cultivate in order to take any next step is showing up. You can't do the next thing if you're not there. And that all we always come back to that. It's like,
Yeah.
get here, we'll do the rest together. Get here, we'll figure it out. Get here, then we'll think about that next thing that you're already worried about. Show up.
I think it was 2008 or 9 when like P90X came out.
Yeah.
Did you do P90X when it came out?
Yes.
Is it Tony
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
He kept calling himself Uncle Tony throughout the whole DVDs. But one of the things I remember Uncle Tony telling us when we were working out is just show up, just press play. Just put in the DVD and press play. Just show up and press play. And that was an encouragement for me when I started doing that. I was like, thanks, Uncle Tony. I don't really feel like working up out, but if I could just show up and press play, it'll get
Yeah.
done. And then
Yeah.
I'll usually about 5, 10 minutes goes by and then I'm glad I'm doing it.
Exactly. And it's whenever we finish a class, I always say, take a moment, your body, for this feeling, base your decision on your next workout on how you feel right now.
Hmm.
Because that you already feel triumphant. You already feel accomplished. You've gotten over the hump. And showing up is like what we call like micro courage.
Hmm.
It's very similar to Atomic Habits. I'm sure your audience is familiar with Atomic Habits by James Clear, where he's like, if you want to go for a run and you want to get into the habit of being a runner, you don't plan to go for the run. You plan to put your shoes on.
Yeah.
You make that courage smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it is doable for you.
Mm.
And then you go to the next step because it's so easy to get overwhelmed by all the things that becomes almost paralyzing, where all you had to do was show up. we get you there, then we can not only get you there, but move you forward into each next step, phase, transformation, whatever it ends up being for you.
Yeah, I love that. Just maybe a final question. You said that you like to read. You're a big reader, and I kind of heard you say uh, self-help. You kind of said it
Yeah,
a certain way,
yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, that term kind of has gotten a bad
It
connotation.
totally has.
And I think maybe a better way to describe those types of book are personal development, I
Love
guess.
it.
Yeah,
Personal
personal
growth
development
books,
books. Yeah,
for
personal growth.
sure. Yes.
But maybe not one that you're reading right now, but has there been one that you've come back to maybe a few times that you would recommend for people to read if they're looking for a good personal development, personal growth book?
Yes, there are two that oh gosh, only two. Okay, there are three that I have read over 10 times each. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
You bought that book for me.
I did.
You gifted me that book, and
I did.
it is a great book. Thank you.
It you're welcome. That is a book you can read, and it's great for even teenagers all the way up to however old you are.
Mm,
That book I highly recommend. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown.
mm,
Beautiful book. That, and if you're the kind of person that wants to find a book that says, "Tell me what to do," that's your book.
okay.
And then Rise, Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell. It's on the woo woo side,
Yeah.
and it is so deep and so rich in the remembering.
Hmm.
You really are.
Yeah.
Faults, flaws, all of it. And really a guidebook on how to move forward in a way that feels like you're living to, in truth to who you are.
Yeah. Great. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is Coach D with Fierce by
Yes.
Choice.
Yes.
And so we'll post where people can find you. I know you've said it already, but
Great.
at Fierce by Choice is Instagram and also at Fierce Coach D on
You got it.
Instagram. And so please check her stuff out. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm sure that people will be blessed if they connect with you. And so thanks for taking time to talk about faith, purpose, and leadership with me.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm just so grateful for your friendship. I love you so much and
Yeah.
just grateful for our connection. Yeah.
Oh, me too. It is an honor to be here, to be on as a guest. And yes, our friendship has made my life better. I love you. I'm proud of you, and
Mm.
I cannot wait to see where this
Here's
goes.
to our growth.
Here we
Woo!
go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Wow, what a great episode. I am so grateful for Coach D and her taking the time to share some wisdom with us and a little bit about her journey. Again, I would encourage you to follow her on Instagram, where she provides daily inspiration and encouragement. You can follow her at Fierce Coach D or at Fierce by Choice. Those are two Instagrams that she runs. And also check out her website. If you're interested, if you're a woman and you're interested in going on one of her retreats, I would highly recommend it. Check out fiercebychoice.com for details about her retreats that are coming up. Thank you so much for listening. Please give me a follow and maybe leave a comment or if a review. And if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, please drop that in the comments as well. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.